and this is the scene that we're doing today. So we'll start. It's 12:05 as always. Okay, welcome everyone to this masterclass. It's going to be, I will try to be shorter than the last one, because the last one we didn't create the entire scene, but that's why I pre-made some stuff to be more productive. But basically this is the scene that we're going to create today with the shoe, and then boom, exploding. Okay, so does someone has any doubt before, someone that think or understand the process of how to do this? If you do that, I will give you a prize. No. Okay, who? Okay, Miguel, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hi, Paula. Nice to be here. I think that was made using the balloon properties in cinema.
Yeah.
Where we use the cloud modifiers and the pressure.
Wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So yeah, I mean, is you will have a prize, so send me a DM later. The funny thing here is like when we can use balloons, but it's another way to use it properly. So there is a lot of settings that we need to understand. Atonji, you want to have some question too? So go ahead.
Hi, Pedro. Nice to be here again. I was just thinking there could possibly be another way to approach it. I know balloon and the cloth modifiers is one way.
Okay.
But we could use the surface collider and like use a jiggle deformer at the end if we're not looking to do simulations. So
yeah,
I don't know what it's
because
called,
with
but
the jiggle will bounce,
it's a collider.
Right? Because with the jiggle will bounce.
Yeah.
That's good.
Something like that.
That's good. I didn't try that, so I will try that later. That's wonderful, man. Yeah, I think you can have a little more control too. But I mean, but before that, I understand that we can use a collider, but for the letters to look like this, you need to have a process of balloon first. Make sense? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, but you're right. I think we can do it more efficiently. Okay, so let's jump in. Okay, so we're going to create a scene from scratch. If Cinema 4D allows me to do it. Okay, perfect. Oh, and I will save this. Let me save it. Okay, perfect. So you're right. I mean, there's two ways to do it. The way that I choose is with balloon, because I think it will give me the opportunity also to create the simulation, but at the same time be editable. So I can edit whatever's inside. Okay. So seeing what's going on, basically what I did, I create the shape on Illustrator first to create the splines. So basically I create the shape on the Illustrator, and I will just the same one. And for example, we're going to use this M first. Okay. So this M right here is a shape that has these points over here. Okay. The most important thing when we do something from Illustrator to Cinema 4D is to create the less points possible. So if, for example, in Illustrator, you have this this option when you do some straight shape that you can create a round corner, correct? When you do that, it will create 2 points on Cinema 4D, and that's not good. You always prefer to have just 1 point and create that. Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to create a circle. We're going to make a child. This reset position transform is super useful here. I always use this one and this for axis center. Okay, so these are super useful. Okay, So to make it in the position, to make the child, and just press the button, it will be in the same position. So that's super simple. Okay, pressing Alt, right, you have the sweep inside the circle, and then you put the spline here. And because it's too giant, you don't see anything. Even this is a good haircut. Can use a good haircut. Okay, can I see your faces? Okay, so if you can turn on your cameras, that will be amazing. Okay, so let's try to do, and I think these shapes over here are more straight than a circle. So if you can realize that these shapes are really not a perfect circle, it's almost like a square rounded. So that's why I discovered later. So it will be better just a square rounded. So the square rounded. Okay, so you see, it's almost like this shape a little bit. It will be more accurate. So what I did here is because this one, if you see, has this bottom a little more thicker, correct? It's a little more inflated. You have two options here. You can do it with the Vertex map, but you can also prepare a shape more similar to what we're doing. So how can prepare this? This will be like this when you do a sweep. So if you go to details, correct? You go to the scale and you lower down a little bit. Why you lower down? Because you have more control if you lower down. So you lower the sweep, but you increase the rectangle. Okay? So the rectangle, you increase it something like this. And that way, if I go to the sweep and the scale and the details, I can go and make points, right? And then I can start adding some little thicker here. Okay, you see? So I can thick this a little bit, and that will have a little more control of the shape. So I will thick this other border too, and I'll probably on the bottom is a little thicker too. Okay, so now that I have prepared the shape similar of what we have, something like that, we create, you know, a volume builder. Does someone want to enter into the, so Andreas note taker, is your note taker, Andreas? Let's do it. Okay, so you go to the volume builder, and of pressing Alt, right, you will have it as a child, and then go to the volume measure. This is a typical stuff to remesh things. So when we go directly to remesh, it will be hard for simulations, because even that you can make the adaptiveness onto 0, and what that means is, like, if the adaptiveness is 0, it's not creating a difference with the borders and with the, you know, the sides. When we do that, it will create a little more imperfection shape for simulations. Okay, when we can see the shapes here, even that they look good, but they're not the same, because these corners and all of that is different. So let's see the difference here. So if we put it inside the volume builder, and of course the volume builder needs to be low. Okay, okay, admit. How can I do that automatically? Okay, I don't know. Okay, so the volume builder needs to be a low number, almost like 1 or something, and the remesh polygon count 2000 is good. The adaptiveness to 0, and then you will see the difference. And why this is important to have this remesh, this process with the remesh, because you can see now it will start looking a little more like interesting, a little more round on these parts, right? Even that I think need to have a little more subdivisions here, or a little less separation here. So that's the beautiful thing about using something that is not that is editable, right? Because you can art direct this a lot. Okay, so we're going to create one example with one shape, and then we're going to recreate the scene for the shoe can smash and recreate the animation of that. Okay, so I think I have a pretty solid shape right now, and what I will do is that will create the simulation with the balloon, and the cloth. And we need to consider two things here. When you go to the balloon, basically when it's in 1, nothing happened, correct? Because 1 is the number that nothing happened on this on the balloon. So if we go to 2, it will inflate for 30 frames. That I think that is too much. So I would put it just in 12, and we can see now it's inflating a little bit, but it's getting too wiggle, and the shape that I have is more like, it's more joined, you know, it's more thick. So we can increase right now in the balloon, in the surface, and this is when the magic happened. I think we can increase the mass a little bit. The bendiness, we can increase it to have a little more bend. But the important thing here is we're going to mix animation, and with the width force, we can put a value almost like 0.2. And we do that, you will see that it's getting a little more rigid. You see? And that's a little more of what we have. So for example, I noticed that this one is a little like taller than this side. So probably because the spline over here it needs to work a little bit more. And that's the beautiful thing about, you know, creating a editable shape, something that you can art direct better. Okay, so if I do that, I will a little bit. Okay, so if I make this a little wider, I will. Okay, you see, so that now we have everything editable. And the good thing is, like, if we wait a little bit for the remesh to do the work, and I think I will increase the polygons a little bit. I always use polygon count instead of mesh density because it works better for me. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing that, but I just better for me. Okay, so now it's looking a little better, and I think the balloon needs to have a little more pressure. So if we do that, now you will see, right, that the shape is not bubbling, like bouncing everywhere, because it has this this force here. And you can use a vertex map here, and that's the beautiful thing. So let's try to do that pretty quick, because I want to show you something. If we go here and put press C and put vertex map, Shift C, right? Vertex map. We put 2 clicks here, and it will add it here. So the good thing about vertex map, if you have the transfer mode open and you have fields, that you can put the spline here. And because you put the spline here, it's pretty amazing, because it's basically getting the same shape. Okay, so I don't know if you knew that, but when you go to along and you go radius, it will create the same shape that the spline have. So if you go to radius, you see that it will start, you know, filling the shape with already the splines that you have. Okay, and I think yeah, okay, so what you can put that vertex map on the force, right? And you can put that vertex map on the balloon, so it will see that it will affect more the part that has the vertex map. So now it's a more like unified shape. Make sense? Make sense to all? Yeah. Go. Yes. Okay. Cool. Perfect. So when you use that, you have more control of what you are affecting. You see? And because this is a little more art direct, so you need to have that control. And I think, you know, seeing that example, that we need to make this more extrude a little bit. No, not that much. Probably something like this, because it's a little more thick. It's thinking. Okay, you see? Cool. Okay, let's see the balloon now. Yeah. So it's pretty jiggery. Oh no, it's good. Okay, so how do you fix that? Probably you know that happened to you before. So how you fix that? You put 4 on passes and 4 any extra iterations, and you probably put this in 30 or some different number. But now you have more interactions, and I think, you know, it's getting too weak. So I think it's it's too big, and I will try to put a little lower number here, because the size of the shape is getting too abrupt with them each other. Okay. No, it's too much. Okay, so I think the balloon is too much. Let's put it just in 2. Yeah, it's not reacting well to that shape. So I think I need to decrease this.
Maybe something on the Vertex map.
Sorry, what?
On the Vertex map. Maybe it's something.
Yeah, maybe something in the Vertex map. Yeah, you're right. So probably we increase the radius a little bit.
Yeah. On the area.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, let's try to remove that from the balloon. Thanks for the insight. So let's try it. If we remove from the balloon, let's see if it's working the same. Yep, fix the problem. Good, man. Okay, so if we try to put this strength a little bit more, it will, I think, will be stick more into the place. Okay, cool. So we have this shape. Okay, so basically, if we do that, we can name this M, correct? We can name this A, and the other one is X. And now we can have the same thing for all of them, and we're going to just put a different spline. That's why it's important to have that editable. And this spline is right here. Okay. So this is the A over here, and this is the mag. Okay, G. Okay, so okay, so now you have the first letter, correct? I mean the first word. Okay. Any questions so far? Anything that you want to add? Anything that you want to know? Okay. So if we go and set up right now, we have, you know, our wonderful looking balloon. So basically this is the process to build a scene, and it's super simple because you have an edit, like a file that you can, you know, work with. The hard part here is when you want to, when you have this, and let's load this scene. So the hard part here is when you have this, and you want to texture, because this one will recognize just a UV mapping, like a regular thing. If you want to create a little more specific as gradients like this, you need to UV the textures. Okay, so let's create the simulation first, and then we're going to create the textures. Okay, so what I did here, and if we see the animation of the shoe, is that the shoe is mashing like slowly, and then boom, it's going right away to the top. Okay, so the thing here is like the shoe, you need to understand also the animation curves, because the animation curves are something that will dictate the emotion inside a piece. It's like the speed and how it feels in the movement, it will dictate the emotion that the scene will have. So because they want to be pretty energetic at the same time flexible, that's why they choose this type of animation. So it's pretty flexible because it's stretching, and then boom, boom, because they need to do something pretty quick because it's a sport, right? Okay, so let's try to figure that out. When I create the shoe, and you will see the timeline, I try to create a way for the shoe, then I can have the control of how much this will stretch, how much this will affect the letters. And basically that's in the Y axis. So if we see what's going on here. You saw you inflate, and then the shoe coming is smashing the if you see the curves, smashing is stay there, and then when it stay there, go out really fast, like boom. Okay, so that's what we want to recreate. You want to recreate that from scratch, or do you want to analyze better the timeline, the curves? What do you want to do? Put it in the message. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to make it from scratch, or do you prefer to create? What do you prefer? Make it from scratch? Okay, perfect. Let's do that. So we are going to duplicate this shoe, turn this off, remove the collider, and go to the show tracks and erase everything. Who like to erase keyframes? I do. I know. I'm a freaky. Okay. So basically now, but we need to remove it from the first keyframe. That way we can have a starting point. Okay. So that's super important to have, a good preview of what you're seeing here. So let's make this a little more space. So right now we have this shoe, and we're going to hide the lights. And you need to understand that you have to control all the shapes when you animate and nulls. You don't need to animate the mesh, because if you animate a mesh, it will create a more destructive thing. But if you use a null object, it will be so much effective, because now you can choose the pivot point. So the first thing to do when you animate is to understand where is the pivot point for the null. And basically, if you see here, the pivot point obviously is the tip, because the shoe and the feet works that way. When you walk, the pivot point is almost like in the top of it. I mean the front. Okay, so we put that pivot point over here, and we see that it's almost like a little below, so we can put it a little more high. Okay, and now of course the first thing to do is to create we are going to create, and it is really good for animation, like attribute by attribute. What I mean is, like, first the positioning Y, and then the rotation, and then we're going to add up, because if we are creating all at the same time, we'll be a little messy. Okay, so let's create first the Y axis. Okay, so we are in this position right here, and just the Y, we go to almost like 2 seconds, and I think it's because the object is this is the cache, so let's clear. Okay, looking beautiful. Okay, so the shoe, then we have in this position right here, right, and then we're going to put it probably a couple seconds, and it's not moving because it has a collider, and okay, sorry, because it has a pivot point. Okay, so we want to smash the text, right? We want to smash it in a way that it will feel like more flexible. So I think from here is fine. Another Y axis, and then need to stay there for a minute. It's like for a couple seconds it stay there, so it's smashing a little more, right? And then it's going really fast to the top. It's like boom. Oh, I lost it. It's like it's faster. Okay, so that's why it's getting. So we have the first movement right now, and we're going to control the curves right now with this movement. So because it will be horrible to see it without curves. If you can see, it's like, it's a horrible animation. What you do here is like you create the curves with this button, okay, and you start managing a little better. So the idea here is like the shoe come not so fast if you see the animation. And sorry, my dogs are barking in the back. So the animation is like, it's not that fast. Even that is entering fast. It's like, it's a little, you know, not that fast. But the good thing is like it's smashing, and that's the effect that you want to create with the curves. Okay, so let me see. This is my wife calling me. Sorry. My wife. Happy life. I always say that. Okay. Oh, you also be able to screenshot of the key moments highlight. Oh, that's an Andres note. It's okay. Same from scratch. Okay, cool. Okay, so the idea here is like it's coming here and it's smashing. If you see, this is not a curve. It's just almost like a flat thing. So we need to get this more beautiful. So how you do that is like you start to creating this effect of a nice curve over here. Okay, so that's something better. Okay, so it's coming down, boom, it's staying a little longer, and then boom, more faster. Okay, so how you do it faster, instead of doing here, it's like if you press control, you can just choose one handle. The thing is need to be really fast on the other side, so that way is right there, boom, it's going faster. You don't need to make it faster from here like too abrupt, because it's not, it will look too abrupt. You see, you need a little smooth here, but really fast on the end. So what is the good thing about having a curve like this? It's like if you select these two keyframes, you can have, you know, in the bottom you can decide how much in the bottom you want it to be, and it will not affect the movement. You see? So that's the good thing about using curves. Okay, so let's add a collider here. And that way we can see what's going on. Okay, so it's starting the balloon, and then you add a collider. You see, boom, it started smashing. Let's see from the camera perspective. Start smashing, and then go fast. And because it go fast, it will have this bounce effect. So basically the simulation with this is dictated by the animation that you do. And that's why I think it's a little more organic, because it's like it's reacting in the real physical scenario, you know? Okay, so let's see it. Oh, from the beginning. So everything is inflated. So basically, when we were going to render this scene, we're going to render it from this frame. So the first frames are to scene established, and then we render it from that moment. So you go here, boom. Okay, that's good. This is a good smash, and then go. But now you see that the animation is doing this little turn from the pivot point. So now we're going to do that. So it is. I will remove the collider. And I will show, and I will see the animation. So starting from this point, I'm going to use the other perspective. And then boom. Okay, so I think from this part to this one, and I will choose the same moments for the same keyframes. It's a little bit. Let's see, in 10. And then when you go to the other keyframe, it gets a little more intense, like this. Okay, so now we see that it's smashing, but not so much. So that's why it's important to have, you know, the timeline, because if you see, I can just go here and then choose just the two of them. It will not affect the motion. Okay, but now let's see the curves of the, sorry, I put it here. So now let's see the curves of the rotation. Okay, so let's see the curves in the rotation. Oh, that's why it's doing that. Okay, so let's see the curves over here. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, so it's going here, boom, it's rotating, right? But it needs to be a little more intensive. Like this is a good curve. This is a nice curve. The other one was so ugly. And you see, and it's getting like boom, it's getting smashing a little bit, and then go. And from here you need to keep the same thing. But also the shoe goes on that direction. So it's not just about the stretching, it's almost about it's getting a more turn and then go. Okay, so that's why it's super important to have the pivot point pretty correct, because right now we figure out that this needs to be, and also you can move it from here and it will have the same impact. So instead of moving from the numbers on the modifiers, you can move it on the timeline. Cycling, boom, you see, go right here and then smashing and then boom. And then this one needs to be a little more, but it needs to be less suppressive. Okay, this needs to be more on this high end. Okay, let's see it now. You need to spend the proper time on the timelines. Like the animations are the most important thing, and create a good timeline for it is always a good idea. There's someone that want to. Okay. Yes. Ohiole, ask the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Pedro. Thank you for this session. I really enjoyed this. Please, is this session being recorded?
Yes, it's been recorded, and I will send you the record for all our assistants.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
No worries. That's the question? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so let's put a modifier to see what's going on. And we can put in our camera, because we always need to see the simulation in the perspective that we are seeing in the camera. That's a good thing to do. So it's going here and it's smashing, and then boom, it's go. Awesome. But now we are missing the part when the shoe is going out, because it's smashing and and it's going, like it's rotating a little more, but it's going to that direction. So that's what we need to do right now to finish the animation. So remove the collider and go to this part. So basically it's coming right here. It's coming right here. And then from here, from this one, from here, I think we need to create this X, animation. So, okay, perfect. And now you will see it's going to this direction. Okay, so if we go to the timeline again, we go to the position here. Why is doing that? I don't know. Oh my god. Okay, let's see that. Okay, in the timeline here you see the position X here. Why if I press H here, all the time that I press H in the timeline is basically saying selecting the keyframes, and now it's not doing that. That's weird.
Try using home.
Sorry, what?
Try using home and the home button.
Which one? Sorry.
Home. The home.
What is
home
home?
button in your keyboard, where there are those arrows. And
it means the home key on your keyboard.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, cool.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I always use the H, and it's worked for me. I don't know why it's not working right now. But yeah, thanks for the advice. Okay, so basically, we are going to see this shoe right now on this section. So it's going to here, and then, okay, this is too much, as you see. And this is almost like a weird thing happening right here. Okay, so it needs to be more to this one, and this is something like this. Okay, why it's doing that. I don't know what I pressed, but it's getting a weird behavior. Okay, so in that moment is this way. Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, that's so weird. I will do something. So I will just remove the X and I will create another null. So you can always do that. It's like create a null inside the null. So that way it will fix all your problems. So from here I will create an X, and then here I will go to, oh, it's a C one. We'll create a C animation, and then boom, 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 and let's go this way, this way. Okay, let's see. Okay.
So hey Pedro, why did you add null object again?
Okay, so now let's see the behavior of this. Is rotating, boom, and this is going to this direction. So I'll just remove this position and then whoop, whoop. Okay, let's try to increase the rotation a little bit. Okay, let's put a collider and see what's going on. Oh, let's turn on this one. I don't know what's doing that. It's so weird. Because if you see, you know, the one that I had before, it has the same thing, but I just adjust the timeline. I don't know what I did with the timeline. Probably I mess it up because it's not responding to my key shots also. Okay, we know it's the same thing, but now the way out is good. Okay, so now that we have this animation, let's see it within action, and we are going to bake this action first. But before, we need to understand how we can do this scene. So let's bake this meanwhile, and I'm asking you a question right now. If you can answer me in the chat, Slug, because it's important to understand to create these scenes, but it's also important to have projects to do these scenes. So let me cache the objects meanwhile. So like, how many of you are struggling to get clients? Can you raise your hand? How many of you need guidance on that? If you can send some emojis on things. Okay. Okay. If you want to speak out, I can help with that. If you just want to raise your hand, because I just have a conversation to a guy, Warren Thompson. That's pretty good. And there's a lot of things in the mindset of designers. It's not about just the skills. It's about to know how to sell. And you know, and as you know, we have a let me put it here. We have a challenge here that can help you to do that. So I will put the link here on the call. And just for this call, I'm putting a coupon for someone that want to join this. There are only 3 spots left for this price, so if you use this coupon, you can have access for just $1.99 to this. And you know, our promise is to get at least one project of 5K or you know, 5K of new income, because we have been seeing that it's super possible, and we have been seeing the success in my case and other people's case. So yeah, that's our promise. If we don't have that, you will refund our money. Okay, let's continue to this one. So basically here we have the simulation right now. Boom. And then what I added to get this thing floating is a rotation and a gravity. So pretty simple, like I just keyframe both, and the rotation and the gravity. Okay, so you see, okay, so that's good. You have the simulation. That's wonderful. Everything is running perfect. But if I want to create, for example, a texture that I did in Photoshop like this to simulate the same gradients, okay, and I've added to my, so let's put and I will talk about the illumination right now pretty fast, but I'm trying to, you know, create this fast for you can see the texture. So if I put the texture over here, what will happen is that I don't have too much the control. Let's see this one. I don't have too much the control of the texture. Why? Because I don't have UVs. So if I want to have something like this, it's more organic or have some variations, I cannot move this texture because it's UV mapped. So even that, I can go here on the textures and you know, I can, so this, for example, this is texture. This texture I create. Even that, I can go to the apps. I mean to the vector apps. And I can move the positions with the vectors app, the offset. Okay, even that I can do that. You will see that the UV will have these really weird lines. Okay, so I was figuring out that we can also work with a ramp, and for this case it will be good. So if I put the ramp, you will see that it's almost like, yes, decent. But if I if I do the same thing for the rest and I use the ramp, you know, I'm not able to change that, because if I change the ramp to okay, if I change the ramp, and let's put this on more on the side. See me one second. It's hard to work with one screen. So if I put the ramp and I start to, for example, put it in horizontal or a diagonal perspective, you start to see, because this example here is a diagonal gradient. It's not horizontal. It's not vertical. Okay, and you start to see what's going on the bottom of it. So one thing I always use, and you will see I will have more control with that, is first you need to put this on a, you know, on an editable, right? And you have this. If you put this on the editable first, you need to clear the cache here. So clear the object cache. We are going to this one, duplicate it, wait the remesh, so make it editable, and this we're going to call it M. Okay, so we'll remove the balloon here, and on this M we're going to extension, and we go to the Rhizome UV. So I don't know if you're familiar with Rhizome UV. Oh, Callan, go ahead. You have a question.
Sorry, I think that was from a while ago. I just
Okay.
put it back out. So.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with Rhizome UV, but it has a pretty good extension for Cinema 4D. And it's really amazing how it works. Basically, you just go here, you select the shape, you put extension and Rhizome UV export, and you will see this package. So this is super powerful for UV. So this is the front side of my M. So I want to make the cuts, the seams on the back, because I don't see the back. Okay, so we can just select, you know, the lines, and with the after that with the C with the C shortcut, we can make a cut, and then with the O we can optimize it. So meanwhile I'm doing this tedious task, just please ask whatever you wanted to ask. In terms of business, in terms of, you know, how to sell your projects, how to find your clients, whatever thing you wanted to ask, just unmute yourself and ask the question. This is your chance. I'm finishing. Okay, no one? Okay. You lose the opportunity. Okay, so I will create this little bit also seams here. So everyone is familiar with OUV and unwrap objects, or not so much? You can put in the comments, or use a different UV mapping like camera. Yeah, you can use camera projection or something, but at the same time, can you just use a mask some noise with huge scale and use a ramp to recolor that? Yeah, I mean you can do that, but you will basically you will lose control with the art direction. I think, or in my case, I think maybe you do it better than me. So if I press C and then U, and always it's a good idea, you know, to have the project the shapes mapped, because that's the good way to do it. Okay, so if you see now, the reds are and blues are because it's not that well stretched, and we can spend a little more time, you know, cutting this. But now, I mean, it's pretty decent. You can just go for save. How much time it takes? Like 1 minute. And then you go to your vectors and place the same balloon, right? And then you put this in, you disappear this, okay? And you put this balloon here, and it's inflating the same as the other one, nothing changed. But now if I want to put a texture here, and let's put, for example, this new one, now it will look seamless. You see? So I will create another camera. So now it will look seamless. It will look really good. You see? And how much time it takes? Of course, that we're seeing the back. We've seen the seams in the back, but in this case, we're not seeing in the back. If we do it correctly, it will not, you know, happen that. But basically, I mean, now I can art direct better the scene with textures. And we also use those. Where do you get the most of your client from? Do you reach out to them with pictures, or is mainly retainer referral? Yeah, I mean, Callan, I think the best way to reach clients is to understand your client, to put it in the mindset of the client. So let me explain pretty quick the light here that I did to make it infinite show, and I can show you the insights of that. Okay, so basically what I did here, then I have it, this one done, and I was doing the max for, and on the, where is that? Okay, here, this one. I was doing this for what I think is right here. Okay. Okay. What is the oh, here, Mac. And the max here is over here. This one. Why is this appearing? That's so weird. Okay, no worries. Okay, so That's the letters. This is the tests and the Mac. We'll erase that, and you will see now, all of them there are more with the texture correctly. Of course, we spend more time. We can do this properly, and we can, put it in a good position to make the final render. But basically, what I did here is I create a infinite field, creating a big background light for the background to have this round thing, to have an infinite, a background here. And I create two renders, and this is not the final render, but I create two lights for just the letters, so we can go and see it. You see, so I create just two lights for the reflection of the letters, and then I create the top for everything, and of course, the rim light to see the borders of that, and the dome light and the background. And that's when things start to get more seem like a little more similar. So if that's too strong, you can always go to optical and start reducing the exposure a little bit, and start to playing with those values and have the reflections and all of that. Okay, so if we go and see, okay, I think we remove that. Okay, let's do it here and space it the max over here. Where is it? Here. why is not showing the max? Oh, okay, because of that. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, either way, you have the idea. So I wish I had more time in these calls, man. It's getting a little frustrating when I have too less time. But I will send you this file for you can take a look. I will fix whatever is need to fix right now, and I will send you the file with the animation like baked in, with this, with everything that we're seeing right now. But basically, I try to understand more how to do it, how to use the balloon, how to use the cloth, and all that. If you can see, it's pretty wonderful how you can create these fillings of smashing and this flexible stuff. But Callan, I don't know how much time do we have. Let me see in the clock. We have 3 minutes. Okay, let's put in 3 minutes. So I will try to give you in 3 minutes a guideline for you can start getting clients. Okay, so basically step one is choose a niche. You can choose a niche of agencies or direct to the consumer, direct to the product. Okay, but you need to really choose a niche. You need to choose a customer profile when you can work with. Why? Because if you don't have a customer profile, how you will understand who is your client? Like, will be super weird, right? It's like if someone, I always do this analogy, but someone wants to eat sushi, and I prefer to go to a sushi restaurant, to a restaurant that offer me all type of foods, because I will trust more in that restaurant. So that's step one. Step one is to choose your niche and to create your online presence regarding that niche. If you want to go and explain a video as Microsoft, or explain 3D explainer videos, or you want to create product visualization for cosmetic or supplements or whatever you want, you need to go all in and create an online presence that is more like niching down. Okay, so then after that, you need to start optimizing your landing page on LinkedIn to be really clear of what you offer, and use ChatGPT, or just or you do the research of what are the pain points that your customer will have, so you can have that on your message all the time. You know, and step 3 is basically create an outreach system. It can be on LinkedIn, it can be on email or wherever, but you need to create a list of 200 prospects to start and create the outreach to them, always engaging first. Let me see how many seconds I have. Okay, I think I don't have any seconds, but if you want more, please use that promo if you want to be more challenged. As I mentioned before, you know, you can have access to all that knowledge and start, you know, having a lot of projects. Thank you for your time, guys. I will send you the project file on the email with the re-recording.